happy. What else? First, thank you very much to everybody that's been watching, all that watched my first live. Please do not forget to subscribe below if you haven't, and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about these live shows. I'm definitely going to be doing lots more of this. Yeah, so it's a Friday. I'm just chilled out at home, just trying to relax, and obviously tomorrow is a weekend. I look forward to probably getting to sleep a little bit more. So what have you been up to? Yeah, there's quite a bit happening with lockdown, especially back here in Kenya. And luckily, I'm not currently in zone A as I was a few weeks back. So I'm glad to not have gotten caught up in the city, and then hopefully have issues coming back home. Yeah. So it's been a wonderful time, and I'm just getting to chill. Was catching up with some work, but then I thought, hey, it's only 2 p.m. Why not just try and catch up? Missed you guys. It's been a while. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Wamboy. Thank you, Wamboy. Wamboy from Kijabi. I saw your comment on the last live, and there was one other. Can I remember really? There's someone else. I'm gonna get you. But thank you so much for making time to watch and also drop a comment. And for those that watched as well, I really do appreciate. So what's happening this Friday? What are your plans? Those that are in zone A, what exactly do you have in place? Like how do you enjoy while being locked down? I wonder. I think it's pretty much the same, because we're also trying so much not to be out there and put others at risk. Hi Essie. Hi, how are you? Okay, like hi Essie. I'm not so good at looking at comments while I'm live. Plus I think I'm just facing the sun up here, because na try kuota jua. It's been cold out here. You know, when you live in the forest, usually it's cold most of the times, even when other people in town are enjoying some sun and heat. We're just in here, you know. It's a very habitable environment, but sometimes we don't get to see the sun as much. So today happened to be one of those days when I just want to chill out and just, you know. Yeah, Essie, Sasa, do you want us to talk or something? I'll be happy to invite you so that we can have a chat. It's been a while, we haven't even caught up. Yeah, and I guess the other time I tried to reach out, you were kind of busy. So let me know if today is that day. Yeah, it's just been. You haven't showered, you better shower. Shower and get ready so that I can invite you, and then we can get to do this, just get to catch up and yeah, just know what's up, yo, what's going on. Yeah, but it's pretty exciting. Really. Yeah, I'm usually, today I was up by 7 o'clock, surprisingly. I don't know why, and I think I went to bed at around 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, so yeah, usually I sleep until around 11 in the morning, so I guess I just will sleep much later. Yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of hullabaloo going on social media regarding the lockdown, and there's a lot of noise being made about, you know, the shutdown. And well, I would call it a partial lockdown, because movement within zone A is not restricted, right? Not as much, but then there's been a lot of complaints, and I was a bit concerned about it, which is one of the things I decided to really talk about. And the Ugandan president yesterday, I think there was this speech he made that was out there, where he was talking about us trying to battle the war by following the rules and the guidelines. And it made a lot of sense to me. But then again, I feel like a lot of people are hit. People are out there, no jobs, talking about hotel, restaurants, bars, people are out there now jobless. A lot of them lost their jobs on the very day the speech was given by our president. So with all due respect, I really also would like to consider people like those who have responsibilities, who have things or people to take care of, who have other, it doesn't mean that those that aren't affected shouldn't be concerned per se. But then it leaves me in a fix because I'm not so sure whether I really want to support the majority that have lost their jobs. But then during the time that I was in zone A, quote unquote, some of the things I witnessed were a bit concerning, coming from, things I witnessed. Things such as bars being overcrowded. And this is, once when we're driving by, all bars are practically full every other day of the week. And that's good. We're Kenyans, we love drinking. But then I got a little worried because these people that are thronging those bars have families, and you don't really know what you're picking out there. I didn't see any masks on in a lot of those clubs. And this is when you're just held up in traffic, and then during the time you're sat there and you can't move because you're waiting for the cars to move so that you get moving, a lot of the places we were passing were just bars and restaurants. Restaurants weren't as busy, but the bars, my God, even as early as 2 p.m. the bars were open, and it's okay to enjoy your money and spoil yourself if that's the way you spoil yourself. But ultimately, then it boils back to the issue of safety. So in that sense, I also support the fact that guidelines have to be followed. There was no social distancing. And it was just not one bar, it was several of them. And I started thinking, man, with the third wave and how bad it's going, and I don't know whether they're scaring us or not, I don't know, but at the as per the World Health Organization, like, we need to be extremely careful. I've been told a story of a gentleman who was invited to Meru by a friend, like I think for a drinking spree or something. And then he decided to come down to Meru from Nairobi, and I think brought his family along, wife and I think kids. And they went to the wife's, they left the kids at the wife's place, at the in-laws, this guy's in-laws place in Meru, for them now to go out and party with their friends. And guess what happened? They went out and picked whatever they picked and came back home, and a couple of days later they were unwell, both of them. So you obviously imagine that was transferred to the lady's parents, the in-laws, and eventually the sons caught it. So you can imagine deaths in the family in a span of less than 2 weeks. The lady's dad, the lady's mom is dead, the lady is dead, the guy is dead, and the kids are dead. When you hear such stories and they come from people who are very close to the sources or the people we're talking about, it hits home. But nothing hits home as hard as if you know someone who's lost someone. And trust me, since I came, it's been one death after the other. It's pretty scary. So for people not to take heed to certain instructions, and even if it feels like, the lockdown will not cut it, ultimately we have a responsibility to just protect ourselves and protect the people that we love. And this is probably not going to go on forever, or it will, who knows. But at the end of the day, we need to adjust to either dealing with the pandemic as is by doing whatever is being advised for us to do, or ultimately take matters into our own hands and then risk, our lives and the lives of others. So at the end of the day, whether there's a lockdown or not, it's all a personal decision. Whether he decides to do a full lockdown or a partial lockdown like there is, let us look beyond this, because I feel it's there is safety first, and it's unfortunate that the safety also compromises our health and our livelihood, that is. So we're being advised to stay home, to sanitize, to avoid going out and mingling, to wear masks and all of that. But then there's an end game. You will get out of it alive. And you might be hungry because you're not able to put food on your table. But ultimately, if you're alive, you'll be able to look for something to do in the meantime that can get you by. And we have people of goodwill out here, ready to assist whenever. You just need to say it out. Just don't shut yourself in and think that the world has come to an end. Ultimately, once hopefully this pandemic is over, we will be in a much better. And if you want to start it now, I mean, why not? But we need to look within ourselves. And I think I'm gonna I'll look for that. I think I took screenshots of President Yoweri's speech. I read and reread it, and it sank real deep. And I know a lot of people might not agree with me, but better safe than sorry. When you catch the virus and you die, that's it for you. But when you're able to take the rules as they are, I don't know, whatever that means to you, you take the rules and follow them. What's the worst case scenario that could happen? You probably will be jobless for quite a while. You might not have food to eat. You might not have a way to get by. But which is better? Yeah. So at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself that. So I've just been, I feel like I do not want to take any sides, because true shit is going down. So many people are jobless, Businessmen have shut down businesses, their own clubs, they can't run because of this COVID. Yeah. And then there's just so much going on. If you just try to wrap your head around it, it's difficult. It's not easy. It's not an easy conversation to have. And there's a whole fire being burnt out on Twitter. And when I read some of them, it feels desperate to get to a point where people speak the way they are. So with all due respect, I mean, it's up to you to decide. Are you gonna go out there and, come what may? Or are you just gonna try and keep yourself and your family safe, or yourself, if you're by yourself, safe, and then hope that, tomorrow or whenever it's gonna be better? It's all an individual decision. Government can do so much. At the end of the day, you're the one who's out there mingling and doing your stuff. And sometimes you probably have no other choice but that. But it comes with its risks. They probably would be a way that you can go out there, do your business, and still come back home, be safe. But it's been particularly perturbing to me, because I'm just really trying to make sense of it all. It's just where you go and you see those walls, you go and just hit that wall. You really want to get out there, feel free. But then being out of that wall has its risks, and this now choosing to be right here where I am and not, and just know that I'm safe, that, I'm taking all the precautions, and yeah, so there are risks to everything. It's an interesting conversation, and it would be nice to know what you think about. Anyways, that's that. I was sipping some tea. I feel like I've had enough sun. It's too much. It's too much already. Anyway, that's that. Yeah, so besides that, nothing else really. That's all I've been thinking about the whole week. And now that we're talking about knowing what's safe, I think I had taken screenshots of this speech. Don't know if I'll be able to share it. Yeah, so I'm just going to go through it. Yeah, it's not very long, but yeah, well, so this was Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's speech to his people about COVID and yeah, what needs to be done, just really advising the public. It's up to you. At the end of the day, you are the determinant of where this goes. You either choose to move out there, get sick, and your history, or just persist and let's see how we're gonna get out of this. So I'm going to read it really quickly. In a war situation, nobody asks anyone to stay indoors. You stay indoors by choice. In fact, if you have a basement, you hide there for as long as these hostilities persist. Well, I don't know whether some of this advice is very applicable, but you choose what to take out of this, and whatever you don't need, just ignore. I'll continue. During a war, you don't insist on your freedom. You willingly give it up in exchange for survival. During a war, you do not complain of hunger. You bear hunger and pray that you live to eat again, which is essentially what I was saying earlier. You look at the bigger picture, yeah? During a war, you do not argue about opening your business. You close your shop if you have the time and run for your life. You pray to outlive the war so that you can return to your business. During a war, you are thankful to God for seeing another day in the land of the living. I always tell you about this, guys. Gratitude, always. You should always be grateful. Sometimes we forget how much we are blessed by looking at what we. So do not let your carelessness probably lead you to a place where that's compromised. Yeah? During a war, you do not worry about your children not going to school. You pray that the government does not forcefully enlist them as soldiers to be trained in the school premises, now turned military depot. The world is currently in a state of war. A war without guns and bullets. A war without human soldiers. A war without borders. A war without ceasefire agreements. A war without a war room. A war without sacred zones. The army in this war is without mercy. It is without any milk of human kindness. It is indiscriminate. It has no respect for children, women, or places of worship. This army is not interested in spoils of war. It has no intention of regime change. It is not concerned about the rich mineral resources underneath the earth. It is not even interested in religious, ethnic, or ideological hegemony. Its ambition has nothing to do with racial superiority. It is an invisible, fleet-footed, and ruthlessly effective army. Its only agenda is a harvest of death. It is only satiated after turning the world into one big death field. Its capacity to achieve its aim is not in doubt. Without ground, amphibious, and aerial machines, it has bases in almost every country of the world. Its movement is not governed by any world convention or protocol. In short, it's a law unto itself. It is coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, because it announced its destructive presence and intention in the year of our Lord 2019. Brackets closed. Thankfully, this army has a weakness and it can be defeated. It only requires our collective action, discipline, and forbearance. COVID-19 cannot survive social and physical distancing. It only thrives when you confront it. It loves to be confronted. It capitulates in the face of collective social and physical distancing. It bows before good personal hygiene. It is helpless when you take your destiny in your own hands by keeping them sanitized as often as possible. This is not a time to cry about bread and butter like spoiled children. After all, the Holy Book tells us that man shall not live by bread alone. Let's obey and follow the instructions of the authorities. Let's flatten the COVID-19 curve. Let's exercise patience. Let's be our brother's keeper. In no time, we shall regain our freedom, enterprise, and socializing. In the midst of an emergency, we practice urgency of service and the urgency of love for others. End quote. Deep. Well, not everything would per se be very applicable, but I feel like what he was trying to say is powerful. Like yeah, I hadn't even thought about the Bible saying man shall not live by bread alone, you know, whatever, however it ends. But then we need to prioritize our safety. Safety comes first. So if you're not alive, then everything else you're doing is in vain, right? All your business, all the businesses you're running are in vain. All all the times you wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock to rush to work are in vain. You're not alive, you can't work, right? You can't earn money from your business. So with all due respect, there is the fact that you have so much at stake if you stay home. But then what about your safety? What about the safety of those you love? You know, it's in peril. So up to you. This is a conversation that I've really wanted to have because it has two very strong sides. The sides that I have to put food on the table, and the part that I also need to keep my family safe. But there's no way I'm going to keep my family safe if I'm staying home and doing nothing, right? When I'm jobless, when my business is shut down. So I'd like to know what you think. I don't want to prolong this too much. I probably will be coming on much later, but then yeah, that's what's up. This is where my thoughts are as we get into April, and yeah, so it's all up to you. You decide whether you're gonna go out there and risk your own life, and probably the ones of those that are closest to you, and even strangers, because actually you just pick it up and spread it. So it doesn't choose who it goes to. It's anyone who has contact with you. So you're not just risking the lives of those that you love, but the lives of anyone else who in a way or another has contact with you. Yeah, so you choose that, or you choose to go the safe way. You can keep safe, and then when we're out of the murk completely, then figure out then what next. I think for me that would be the better approach. I wouldn't want to risk my life and of any one of those people that are close to me, and my friends and the strangers that come into contact with me. It's not really worth it. At the end of the day, it's not. But yeah, when you think about it, it's not. Anyways, that's that. What do you think, guys, about the lockdown situation that is currently being experienced? What are your thoughts about it? And I'm not saying these goons in sorry to call them so. Really sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm sorry to call them goons because I mean, when you read in the news about oxygen masks not being available, they're not enough. Like the heck is that shit though? I'm really, I'm not sorry. Like a whole government hospital probably had bought several oxygen, oxygen, whatever, the whatever, the containers. And then all of a sudden, now they're appealing to the public that whoever may have them, may be holding them for whatever reasons, should return them back to the hospital. Like, how the heck in the first place did they get out of that hospital? So there's a lot of other shit going on. I wouldn't want to get into that because I have no facts to back that up. But seeing that appeal on television and in the news, I was like, this is like so sick, you know. I think it was Mutahi Kagwe, and he was saying that one oxygen cylinder is because they use the very tall ones. He says they're like 40,000. I went on Google actually to check. The smaller ones are 22,000, yeah, and they will mostly, with the 22,000, it comes with a gas refill, right? So now he was saying these taller ones are 40,000, and they're saying the ones they have in ICU are not enough. Essentially, he was intimating that these oxygen cylinders are missing from the hospitals. So then we go back to the hospital management. Who runs the hospital, under what circumstances, even if it's during an emergency and you're doing a hospital transfer. After you've transferred a patient from one hospital to the other, definitely that oxygen cylinder should get back to the hospital. Like, at what point does it even go missing? Unless also people have gotten into the business of, because now, I mean, these breathing problems associated with COVID-19, so definitely they are a hot sell, right? So if you have 10 of them and you've gotten them out of hospitals, I mean, that's 10 times 40,000. You see how much you'll have at the end of the day. So there's also a lot of greed going on. But then, I mean, we always say, and I always believe in this, guys, karma is always a bitch. It may take forever, but there's no way you're just going to play around with the lives of human beings, during a time like this, even if you're working in a hospital or whatever you're doing. There's no way you try to gain something through those scrupulous means and you expect to be able to make a living out of it, or even get to enjoy whatever it is you've earned through those kind of means. So yeah, karma at the end of the day. We might not know what's going on. We might not know whether it's cahoots with those running the hospitals, with some political elements, to just make these things go missing or sell them. You never know. You never really know. You can never really know. So let them have a go at it. So, but I mean, this is even why we need to take care of ourselves even more. Because when they tell us, oh, hospitals are full, ICUs are full. The other day I was being told that my very close friend, she was telling me that she had a sick relative who had COVID, and they took him to Nairobi hospital, and they couldn't be taken because definitely ICUs are full. The totally beyond capacity. And they went around all other hospitals and they could not be admitted. And after leaving Nairobi hospital and went to yet another hospital that's close by, they were told that there are beds, but for you to get into this hospital and get to use our ICU services, you need to deposit not less than $1 million for us to even admit you into the hospital. we need to have a down payment of 1 million shillings. So where does that leave you as the common Kenyan, common mwananchi? You don't have 1 million, you have someone who's sick at home. They really need to get attended to. But then here you are, a milli, and that goes round. You go from one hospital to the other. Yes, we have 2 beds left, but you need to give us a deposit of 1 million or 500,000 or 2 million, who knows. So when you're faced with these things, and I believe a lot of people have died trying to seek treatment. Lots of them. We might never know the number, but it is very, very high. Because when you go to a hospital and you're told to leave before you're admitted into hospital, I mean, you have to give that much to access the facilities. You can imagine how many people go home and lie on their beds and they die within a short time. So many. So guys, I know really we just have to take care of ourselves at the end of the day. If you have the milli, maybe for you. If you have the milli for hospital, good for you. You know, just go for it. Yeah, just keep mingling out there, keep going and clubbing and do whatever you need to do. But if COVID catches up with you, then we'll say that's them. But yeah, and if you have other better ways of spending that money, just take the safer option and just, you know, keep yourself safe. So these are some of the very disturbing things that have been happening. And you read about stuff on Twitter, and because I'm on Twitter so much these days, yeah, getting all the information of what's really happening. Because sometimes, I'm sorry guys to say, I'm a patriot, but sometimes the news can be so debilitating to even watch. You no longer have the guts to watch them. I do watch news actually. When I was out of the country, I barely was even bothered about news. Yeah, but now I'm trying to watch them. But really, sometimes it's just nothing important to watch on those. Yeah. So I feel like where the conversation happens the most is Twitter. So I'm mostly on Twitter. Even I have my gadgets over here. All of them are they're all there. Yeah. So I have like on the go. I'm always on the Twitter account, just trying to read what's happening. I'm checking what's trending, and then follow whatever is being written and what people and how people are reacting to such things. Yeah, very, very, very informative. I get to learn lots actually from Twitter and my own personal research than from watching the news. Sorry to say, like, this is my truth. It might not be someone else's truth, but it's mine. Yeah, so very, very discouraging. And I mean, you have government hospital, a level 4, level 5 hospital with how many beds again? Really, government hospitals. And here we are wallowing in extreme debt. We're talking 34 billion onwards. Like, drives you crazy, you know? And what's not being done right? I mean, at the end of the day, you know, when you cast your vote, you know, we do not sometimes understand the power of our votes. And this comes from someone who probably, I didn't even vote last time, so I wouldn't say I'm that patriotic. But now being here and just getting to read all these absurdities that are going on, I'm thinking, well, this time I probably am not going to waste that vote. But then again, what's the use of voting for, you know, that one person that you think might change things or might turn things around, and then a bunch of other people are gonna be given 100 bob or 1,000 bob? How much do you even spend 1,000 bob on? Today, if you're given 1,000 to go to the supermarket, how many things are you going to buy before that 1,000 is finished? Kidogo sana. You probably take a tissue paper, a roll of 12, and probably 1 kilo of sugar. It can't even buy you cooking oil and rice at the same time. You have to choose. So probably you're going to just buy cooking oil and rice. Your thou is finished. Yeah. So I mean, you're given a thou, and then you use that to go and vote back the same goons, and then barely 5 years later, where there's all this hullabaloo about they're not doing their jobs, we're tired, they need to go. I mean, your vote put this person there, So yeah, it's all this. I think about all these things late at night, 3 a.m. precisely, while I'm doing other things, definitely. Yeah, but I'm also thinking about, I want to be the change I want to see in this country, if not the world. But then, heck, I mean, it takes people getting tired of being tired to actually make a change, I believe. Yeah. Look at countries like Zimbabwe. I was watching about the rise and fall of the late Mugabe's wife. And it was so depressing, Like, you have an opportunity, but then you screw it over, Right now, all the schools she built, all those things she established, all gone down the drain. Yeah. Selfishness, it's a lesson. Selfishness doesn't pay. Yeah. When it's your time to go, you have to go. There's not two ways about it. But then when you look at such, we have such good examples. There's Zimbabwe. There's, Uganda, we're getting there. Yeah. Look at the case of Tanzania, for example. Yeah. Where they have denied the existence of COVID since last year. And now we don't know what happened. We probably never know. But even more frustrating is you see these leaders attend another leader's funeral and they don't wear masks. Some of them are wearing masks. Are they sick? They're not sick, Just trying to protect yourself. But then how do you protect yourself around people that are not even wearing masks? Difficult, right? So yeah, there's all these things. Yeah. And now, thankfully, we have a president, a female president, first within East Africa. And we're watching to see whether she's probably going to dance to the same tune or is going to take it more seriously. And this is weeks earlier when it was claimed that a lot of clergymen had died due to COVID in Tanzania, and still adamant, still not wanting to confront the fact that, this third wave is out there. And now Kenya risking closure or being put on the red list by many, many other countries because our borders with Tanzania are still open. Guys, crazy. You're willing to risk being put on the red zone, which means there's totally not going to be people allowed to travel overseas or wherever from Kenya. But all you need to do really, however much economy has dwindled, there has to come a point where you just decide, this is about the safety of our people. That border is still open. People are still crossing in and out, in and out, in and out. So we're risking all these sanctions, but then government does nothing. So yeah, I'm not going to say that, let's take the regulations regarding COVID, the lockdowns, let's just try and stick to that. But there's a lot of other things going wrong. And it's not my responsibility, but it's our collective responsibility. People have to get to a point where they think or they see that shit is going wrong and do something about it. And when you do something about it, you can go up in arms, you can walk down the streets. But when it comes to your chance to vote, make a wise decision. I don't know what the wise decision is. I don't know. But we will know when it's time to do politics. we will be in a better position to know. But then I also feel like, money changes people. Yeah, right? Money changes people. There's very few people who get into power and say they'll be the same person 10 years later. Things do change, really, you know. So, I mean, it's only God who will probably guide his people into picking a leader who's at least going to show like they really care about what's going on. Because it seems like no one is, including myself. In terms of COVID, I am. Yes, I am. But in terms of this other shit bags flying around, really, even if I care, then what? Like people need to realize the danger they're putting themselves in. If you don't, then even if I'm bickering here on YouTube for the next 2 hours, it doesn't make any difference. Yeah, so there's just so much happening. Yeah, I'm glad I spoke it out. I've been thinking about it aloud to myself. Yeah, but then I was like, I really need to share it. So guys, I can see there's people watching. What do you guys think though? It's loud because what do you do? There's not so much you can do, but then I mean, this is a day in the life of Kat on a Friday at home, alone, just enjoying some time. And I miss the kids already. What's happened there? Yeah, to just look at what's really happening. What do you think? Talk to me, guys. Talk to me. Talk to me. I know you're there. This was my morning tea. I did finish it. It's still very, very, not very, very hot. Yeah, so I am that person who drinks tea even when the sun is just up there. Yeah, that's how addicted I am to chai. So, guys, I have to say adios. I'll probably be coming back much later, hopefully. Yeah, need to take care of a few things, make a few calls here and there, and then I'll probably be catching you much later. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate. Take care. Stay happy. Keep smiling. Stay safe. Please, please, please. We don't need any more bad news. Okay? Bye.